Hi everyone, this is Dayu from EcommOps. Today I'm going to talk about something that folks have requested me to talk about, and that is how are the upcoming EU VAT changes in July of 2021 going to affect dropshipping and China fulfillment for e-commerce store owners. Now, I will emphasize that there are a lot of uncertainties still. Back when the UK VAT changes happened back in December of 2020, there were uncertainties up to just a few weeks before it was enacted. So I totally expect that things are going to be a little bit uncertain right up to the point when it actually happens. Now, so there's going to be a short video, really more talking about what we do know already, what we don't know, but we'll continue to research in more detail in a future video, and also my thoughts on how this might impact you as a dropshipper or e-commerce store owner fulfilling from China. If you want to check out the UK VAT video that happened back in December 2020, definitely check out the link below. There's going to be a lot of similarities, but probably a lot of differences as well, so take that with a grain of salt as well. This is only going to talk about introduction of what we know already, and a much more detailed video will come later. So let's go. What we know already, there's going to be three major categories of changes coming in July of 2021 with the EU VAT. First is the removal of distance selling thresholds for the VAT, and also the introduction of what's called the one-stop shop, or the OSS. Second is going to be the removal of the low-value import exemptions, which is actually very, very important. We'll talk about that later. And the third is going to be having marketplaces deemed as the responsible parties for collecting VAT, and we'll talk about all of these next. So the first category, what we know already, is the removal of the distance threshold and also the introduction of the one-stop shop. So the removal of the distance threshold, so this is compared to currently, depending on the country in the EU, there is a certain threshold that you don't have to be responsible for VAT if you come under that threshold for sales in that country, and it's somewhere between 30,000 euros to 100,000 euros depending on the country itself. They're completely removing that. Now, that is not a good thing, because previously if you do not sell above that threshold, then you're just not worried about VAT at all. But now, even if you sell any sales in any of these countries, you are technically responsible for VAT. Now, the second part of this change, it's called the one-stop shop. This basically just means that as opposed to having to separately file for VAT filings in each individual EU country that you're responsible for, there is this method to do it only once. However, that being said, you still have to be responsible for the varying VAT rates for each country that your sales are going to, as defined by your customer's shipping address. It does make it somewhat more convenient for you if you're filing for VAT anyways. You might as well have a more streamlined process as opposed to filing in a whole bunch of different countries within the EU. But I personally think it's kind of neutral. I mean, honestly, I think it's kind of like the EU VAT office is making it easier for you to file so that they can more easily collect VAT. It doesn't really change anything about your rates. The distance threshold is still removed, so you're responsible for VAT everywhere now, and I guess it just makes it easier for you to file and therefore pay your VAT to the relevant offices, and you only need to do it once. And now if you are actually outside of the EU, it's a little bit more complicated. There is something called the IOSS, the import one-stop shop. We don't have, we're not going to talk about too many details in this video. It's outside the scope of this, but basically it's very similar to the one-stop shop concept where you only have to have one filing. However, there's an additional step that you have to register in a specific country within the EU first. Now, this second change, which is removing the exemption on low value imports and also moving the calculation of the VAT to point of sales, this is going to be the biggest impact on a lot of folks out there, especially if you're drop shipping from China. So previously, what would happen is that if you are dropshipping from China, your supplier or AliExpress, whoever, they can declare under a certain value, under 22 euros, and all of those go scot-free in terms of VAT. And it's completely in their right to do so as well. I mean, the vast majority of the time, no matter how much you sell your product for retail, your product price is most likely actually under 22 euros or far under 22 euros. So previously you might have suppliers or AliExpress sellers declare like, €2 value, €5 value. This is the reason why, and no one's responsible for VAT. However, in these changes coming in July 2021, after that, this exemption is completely removed. So you're responsible for VAT on everything, except up to 150 euros. And after 150 euros, above that value, that's where it starts getting triggered as import taxes, which is a little bit outside the scope of this discussion. We'll talk about it next time in more detail as we find out more of how that gets dealt with. And another incredibly important change as part of this is that VAT now, or at least as of July 2021, will no longer be declared on the value of the import, but rather it will be assessed on the point of sales. Now, what that means is that previously, or currently before July, your supplier is responsible for declaring the value, and this is where they're very safely able to declare under the threshold even if your retail price is higher. However, after this change, they're saying that the VAT value declared has to be on your sales price. So, for example, if you're selling a product for 30 euros, and previously you would be able to have your supplier, maybe your supplier product cost is 5 euros, and your supplier would be able to declare 5 euros, go under the threshold, and so no VAT at all. However, after these changes, that same 30 euro sale, first of all, gets charged VAT, and it gets charged at that entire price. So it will be the VAT on the 30 euros. Now, this is obviously pretty big, right? Because this essentially kind of closes a loophole before and currently where you can have a lot of low value goods going to the EU and no one has to worry about any VAT at all. And honestly, this is the biggest reason why they are doing this, because the EU VAT offices, they want to close this loophole. So unfortunately, I mean, the reality is that if you're selling to the EU, just like to the UK right now, you're responsible for VAT on all of your sales. And not only that, on the sales price that you charge the customer as opposed to your import price. I do want to make a note about how the value of the declaration is actually handled. So by the ruling, they're saying that the value is declared based on the value of your sale minus any transaction fees and any shipping and anything else. However, these things have to actually be placed on your customer's invoice in order for you to be able to deduct those. This is actually a little bit of an annoying thing because most of you dropshipping are probably not charging shipping. You're charging free shipping, so you don't have shipping separately in the invoice, and therefore by this ruling, the VAT actually has to apply to the entire sales price. Now, if you were charged shipping, then you can actually remove that shipping cost from the VAT calculation, and obviously you'll be responsible for a lower VAT rate. However, obviously that means that you actually have to charge shipping, which I don't actually know exactly what's going to be the right balance, because obviously charging shipping is going to affect conversions as well. So this is something that is kind of tricky and you have to manage. Now, the third category of changes is that if it is a marketplace that is selling to a customer. So let's talk about Amazon, eBay, whatever it might be, to the EU. Then it's the marketplace's responsibility to actually collect and charge VAT from the customer. So if you're an Amazon seller, for example, selling to the EU. Now, we don't exactly know how this is going to work exactly. However, when the UK VAT got enacted, if you were an Amazon seller, like Amazon just forced you to basically collect the 20% VAT for the UK at least and pay it to the authorities. However, if you are an Amazon seller, Amazon actually does that and it's not your responsibility. But most of you watching this are probably actually direct store owners, whether Shopify, WooCommerce, whatever it might be. And that means that you are actually the point of sale. So you are actually responsible for collecting and paying your own VAT payments. Now, one thing that's not completely clear is where does stuff like AliExpress play in this if you are using them as a dropshipping supplier? Because AliExpress is also a direct consumer line. So when the UK VAT was enacted, AliExpress actually charged VAT to dropshippers, and then dropshippers would then have to collect VAT. And at the time, there was a method of reclaiming that VAT, so you're not double taxed on the VAT. However, it's not completely clear right now how that process is going to work for the EU VAT changes if you're dropshipping from AliExpress or some kind of other marketplace. You could be dropshipping from eBay or some kind of dropshipping platform, for example. And now let's talk about the VAT rates. So across the EU, what we know is that there is a minimum of a 15% VAT. However, different countries are actually allowed to set their own VAT rates as well. So the rates are actually going to be different. And this is going to be a little bit complicated because then you actually then have to, or you're supposed to charge different levels of VAT for different countries as well, and then therefore collect them and pay the VAT offices. And this is, I guess, one of the benefits of the one-stop shop that's coming, so you can do it all in one place. However, the rates are still dependent on where your customers actually are. All right, so now let's talk about some of the things that we definitely aren't completely certain now in terms of regulations, but we will continue to look for over the coming months in a more detailed video. So first, we do not see a very clear mechanism for reclaiming VAT if you were charged VAT from example using AliExpress when this happens, and you also have to collect VAT again from your customers and pay that. Now with the UK VAT changes last year, there was a little bit more clarity in this, is that you can actually deduct that VAT from your VAT charges and not be double taxed. But right now there is no clear mechanism for doing so. Usually these VAT calculations, they try to avoid double taxation, so we do believe that there's going to be some kind of method to do this. Another thing that we're not completely clear about is if you're using a private supplier, private fulfillment company like EcommOps, for example, where does that fall in terms of, are they a marketplace or not? Do we as agents have to charge you VAT first? Now, according to the UK VAT changes last year, we were not deemed as marketplaces, so we were not required to actually charge our clients VAT, and it's our clients' responsibility then, and there's no double taxation. However, there is no clear ruling right now that says that we are or we are not marketplaces as agents. So that's obviously something that we want to look into, because we obviously do not want to charge you, our clients, double VAT when this actually happens. Finally, one thing that we still don't know is how will couriers deal with VAT? How will customs deal with packages coming through? Currently, for the UK VAT changes, especially if you're using an agent, there's no requirement for us to declare the VAT due to these changes. So the packages go through completely fine. However, even for our clients selling to the UK, we definitely strongly suggest that everyone get a UK VAT number, just in case the packages are required to have these numbers to actually get delivered to the customers. Now, for the EU VAT, this is not completely clear yet. It's something that UniExpress and our other couriers are currently looking into, so we'll provide more information. Obviously, we hope it's going to be like the UK VAT changes, where packages can still go through with no issues and you deal with VAT afterwards. However, this is something that we'll definitely be looking into. One thing I like to say is that, look, this change is not gonna kill your business. Like a lot of people have been worried about that. First of all, if you were a local EU seller, you had to pay VAT anyways. You had to collect VAT anyways. If you live in the EU, you always have to pay VAT. Face-to-face, online shops, VAT was just always a thing. One of my favorite quotes from Benjamin Franklin is that in this world, nothing can be certain except death and taxes. So taxes are just a thing, and obviously I can't advise you to do whatever about the VAT. However, just remember that taxes are just a thing, and also consumers are also used to it as well. It's not really something that is going to just kill your conversions completely. And the other thing is that if every dropshipper starts having to charge VAT, then the market is just going to adapt, and this is really not going to kill your business at all. We have plenty of clients selling tons of volume to the UK still, and it's all completely fine. All right, everyone. So just wanted to kind of give a quick update because everyone's been asking about it. Definitely look out for a much more detailed video as we get more information over the coming months. So subscribe and follow our channel to look out for that. And finally, we at EcommOps, we're a premium fulfillment company. So if you're looking to work with us, if you have steady orders, we definitely want to talk to you. So check out our link below, and also join our Facebook group, and we'll be happy to have you as part of the community. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Dayu from EcommOps. See you guys next time.